Hi everyone, it's Graham from Lakeside, and this is just a precursor intro to the video which you're about to see. Hopefully you're about to see. It's actually an hour and a half long, so I thought, well, I can't put a video up which is an hour and a half long. I'm going to have to edit it, so I've done that by speeding up quite a bit of the video itself, where I'm not really doing anything or saying anything, and you're not actually missing anything apart from the actual speeding up process. You'll still be able to see roughly what's going on, but it has shortened the video from an hour and a half down to about 45 minutes. So hopefully you'll understand why I've done that. It's really, I didn't want people having to look through a video for an hour and a half. Okay, so that's about it. So hopefully you'll enjoy the video. So bye for now. Hello everyone, it's Graham from Lakeside, and today I'm going to be hopefully putting in one of these Megabase speaker things, which I got from Roads and Rails. And I'm going to put it into the Silver Fox. Now this has already got a sugar cube speaker in it, but as I've got 3 of these now, I've already had plans to put these into some of the steamers I've got, this being the first one. My next one is probably going to be my Costi, if it'll fit. And I really don't know at the moment whether that is going to fit in there. Certainly the lugs will have to come off, but until I open this up, I don't know whether it's going to fit. So that's the first thing. And what I'm going to be doing is the whole process on camera. Now, I watched Alan from Dragon Junction do his Class 37 yesterday while we were on holiday. I thought really I should have done that on my previous video, where I put in the speakers for the Class 37, same method as what Alan did, and also the Class 66, which you will be pleased to know is absolutely fine now, and it was due to the 4-ohm twin iPhone speakers causing the issue with the TTS Hornby sound decoder. So that's now got a 8-ohm speaker in it, and it's absolutely fine, and as you saw in the video, it's great. So that's that issue done. So both the 37 and the 66 are fully functioning with no issues, but as I said, I want to fit this into here, and when I saw Alan's video, I thought really that's how I should have done it, because it does show the whole process rather than me going, this is what I've done and this is how it's finished up. It doesn't really show you an awful lot. So I'm going to attempt to do this all on camera, hopefully in one shot if I can. I've tried to make sure I've got all the bits and pieces in front of me or around me. Whether I can do that in one shot, we'll see, but hopefully I will. So this is how this sounds at the moment with the sugar cube speaker. Which actually doesn't sound too bad. It's quite a nice sound actually. It could just do with a bit of bass, I think, on the exhaust, and I'm hoping that that's what this will give me. So what I should be doing is now taking this apart, and you'll see how I go about trying to put that into here. Now this has got a lot of stuff in the tender already. It's got a stay alive capacitor, a big one. It's got the sugar cube speaker, it's got the decoder, and it's got a few other bits and pieces in here too. So it's going to be pushing it, to be honest with you, and I should probably have to reconfigure all what's going on in here. So it's not going to be a 5-minute process by any means. So let's shut it down and start taking it off. So now we're ready to take this apart. Now I can't separate the tender from the loco because I've got wires coming from here from the smoke unit back to the decoder and the stay alive as well. So there's quite a few things going on between the two. So these two have got to remain together. Move those out of the way. Okay. So first thing to do is to take off the Hornby connector, electrical connector, like that. Move that out of the way. Unscrew the drawbar. Screw over there. Take off the rear coupling to access the screw at the back of the tender, like so. Phillips screwdriver for unscrewing the rear screw. Out pops the screw. So that in effect should now release the tender body, hopefully. As you can see, the cables are still connected from the loco to the tender. Let's take this off, hopefully. Yep, there we go. Right, so yes, there is a lot going on there, as I thought. So what you have is, that's the sugar cube speaker, you've got the decoder here. Underneath you've got the standard Hornby here. Underneath you've got the standard Hornby connector, 8-pin connector, and this long black thing here is like a metal chassis which it all mounts onto. Underneath that metal chassis is the stay alive capacitor, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's just there. So I need to take off all that lot really to find out if this will fit. The first thing I've got to do is to offer this up inside the tender shell to see if it's too big or it will fit. Fingers crossed. Oh, perfect. That will fit in there perfectly, I think. Certainly across the width it will fit. It's whether I can then place that, once I've cut the lugs off, whether I can place that in there. It's actually slightly wider across that way to save me cutting the lugs off, and plus I've got the cable, so it's really got to go around that way, which means cutting those lugs off. So So now I know that that will fit, I will now attempt to take all this gunge off somehow. Let's get my scalpel. So that's all released. So I think what I'll do, I will carefully take off the 8-pin connector in here to release the whole lot. So it's gradually coming out. So that's the effort I want there. I hate tampering with these wires, they're so fine. I'm just frightened that they're going to come off their solder joints. Right, so that's that. So now what I would like to do is to take this chassis off, if I can. So there's one single Phillips there, it looks like it will come off. No, it's all part of the same moulding, believe it or not. That's a shame. Okay, so we need to take the 8-pin connector away from the chassis, and I guarantee there'll be another screw underneath there. Which there is. So let's take that one out. Put those two screws together, and sure enough, that whole assembly can now come away. Leaving the stay alive. Okay, so that's all the components out. Excuse me. What I'd like to do is to refeed, if I can, very carefully, all that lot back through the hole. One there. Will that go through? No. Damn it. Okay, so it looks like that might have to stay in there unless I unsolder it. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'd like to start afresh on this. grey goes to the earth. So just make a note of how that goes. Right, so now, okay, that now gives me a completely empty chassis to work again. So that can now safely fit on there. So let's put this back to standard. So that's how it should fit, like that. And that goes on there. Comme ci, comme ça. So then I have to take that lot, take the speaker off, I need to reduce the amount of stuff going up into the tender. And the only place to reduce it is by putting something in there. Now in an ideal world, it would be nice to have that underneath, but that no way is that going to go. So that's going to go in the tender. So I can't do that. Will the decoder go in there? Possibly. Possibly. Right, there's two lugs there which don't really do anything. They are primarily, I think, for a speaker, if you have one of those round speakers. And I think if I lock those two off, then that decoder would actually sit nice and flat inside that recess. So that's what I'm going to do. One, two. Perfect. So right, what I need to do now is feed that through there. That will sit underneath. And I need to take the speaker wires off here. So that's the sugar cube speaker out the way. Now the reason why I unsoldered them was because I've now got wires which are already tinned, so I don't have to do that process again. I could have just easily snipped them. Right, so if we assume that what we're going to have above in the tender is now the sugar cube, the bass reflex speaker and the stay alive, that should, in theory, give us the room. So I want those two cables running through, which is the stay alive speaker, the stay alive cables. And plus the two speaker cables. I hope this is all going to work. So that is now everything apart from the 8-pin connector. It's like spaghetti junction, this is. Okay, so that in effect is everything. I'm just trying to at the moment orientate all these cables and the decoder into a decent position where nothing is going to be trapped. When you're putting in screws, it's always wise to turn anti-clockwise first before you tighten up, because what that does, you'll hear a click as you turn anti-clockwise, which means that you've got the thread in the right position and you're not going to cross thread it. Okay, that's a big ask to fit that lot in there, isn't it? Let's see how it goes. So first of all, you need to get all those cables in there. You are joking. No way is that going to fit. No. That chassis has got to go down much further. If indeed actually I need that chassis, which is a good point, because all it's doing is holding this. Okay, let's try it. Maybe fit that through there. I just want to cram everything in at the moment just to see if it fits before I go ahead and do anything else. then I can tape everything down. Wires keep popping out the side. That's going to fit, I think. Yes, that will fit. Perfect. Okay, so now I know that is going to fit. I can now properly tidy this lot up. I think what I'll do is to just bend those two tabs down out the way. That's the two tabs coming up from the pickups of the tender wheels. I'm just bending those down to make sure that that's clear, which it is now. And if I take off that connector, that leaves me now free to glue that on there. What I could have done was to have popped this on as a temporary solution before fitting it all in to see what it sounds like, but the not a problem, but what I wanted to know was what it sounded like with the body tender on, because that becomes a great sound box for a loudspeaker. So it's got its own enclosure here, but before the sound comes out, which is going to be down the bottom, then that becomes a brilliant piece of sound box for the sound. So I could have it open here, but it wouldn't give you the same effect. I don't need that anymore because that was holding the chassis. So I'm going to snip this spigot off. That should allow this speaker to sit flush. So that now is sitting flush and is past that hole there for the screw to come through to mount to the body tender, which leaves all that area for the stay alive. So we're getting there. Now, many years ago, an engineer was showing me how to solder, and I used to twist the wires at the end after I'd taken the sleeve off. And he said, don't do that. He said, because there's no need. He said, as long as the wires are straight, he said, you can tin straight onto those wires. He said, if you twist them, what you're actually doing is that you're virtually doubling the width of the cable, because you're twisting it. Each strand has to go over another strand, and so you actually increase the diameter of the strands. And it's true. So I'm now tinning that, and I've got a nice slender piece of wire rather than a doubled up piece with more tin on it. So now let's get the speaker cables. And there we go. That should be it. So connect that to that. That pops in there. I think I'll pop that in there. And that can sit on the top, hopefully. What do you reckon? Do you reckon it's all going to fit now? And will it be worth it, even if it does? It's fitting. Yeah. Okay. Right, well that was the major thing, to make sure it all fitted. Let's put this screw back on. This is the long screw which goes to the back of the tender. So I think I'll put the plug in later. Put the drawbar in first, I think. These drawbars are an absolute nightmare to put in. They really are. Line it up as best you can. Find another screwdriver. And this is where it all goes wrong. Actually, let's try it this way. This screw is going to go flying across the room, I just know it. You would think there'd be a far, far better way of attaching this drawbar. The little Chinese ladies are probably assembling these one every second. Not with my hands. Okay, that's got it. And the pin. Right, that should be it. So what we need now is a test track. Hopefully there won't be a big blue puff of smoke when I put this on. Right, iPad. Let's see what happens. Will we get sound? And if we do get sound, will it be better, worse, or the same? Sound. Okay, I think we have a lot better sound. So let's try putting the rollers on. Turn the sound off a minute. We'll put the rollers on and then we'll hear it chugging on the rollers. Don't need that really. Okay, let's try again. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, that is a lot better. You might not be able to hear the difference over the video, and also because you're not actually physically here in the room with me, but I can tell instantly that that was a lot throatier, better than the smaller speaker I had in there. Again, on Lakeside it will sound a lot different. The camera is quite a way away from here as well. So I don't know what, until I play this back, what that's come out like. I don't know, I haven't got a clue how long I've been doing this, and I'm sorry if it's taken time, but I said to you right at the very beginning, my previous video, I basically said, well, this is what I've done, that's how it looks, this is what it sounds like. And seeing Alan's, where he went from start to finish installing it, I thought really I should be getting back into doing more of that, because I used to do it, then I got moaned at because videos were too long, people were bored, didn't want to see it, so I thought, oh, okay, fair enough, I won't do it. But actually, for my enjoyment on my channel, I actually prefer doing this, so I might go back to doing this again. I have enjoyed doing this, and not only that, but I think it does show people the rudiments of maybe modifying and fitting a few things differently to how they should do. As regards that is now obsolete, and what I will do, I will now go and get some weights, which I've got, which are ordinary car weights. Several people have sent me these actually, and I will pop those inside the tender. They're just self-adhesive, just like you get on the car wheel, to supplement this for the weight. So that's no issue. I can take that cab off very easily and put those weights in, because that will have a detrimental effect just leaving that out. The tender will become quite light, which you don't want. Good, okay, so I think that's about it for now. Hopefully you've enjoyed that and you haven't fallen asleep and you haven't got bored and you haven't turned off. If you have, well, not much I can do about that. If you have enjoyed it, good, that's what the whole intention was. Okay, so I think that'll be a wrap now, so I will close down and say thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon. Okay, so bye for now. Bye.